Welcome to this English speaking masterclass. Today, you're going to practice speaking in English for 3 hours. This is an interactive class, and you're going to practice speaking with me. I'm going to ask you questions, and you're going to open your mouth and answer. And you'll improve your fluency along the way because I'm going to provide bonus vocabulary and grammar. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, in this masterclass, you're going to practice forming different sentences with for and since. And remember, you're going to practice speaking out loud with me as your guide.
You're probably wondering, what are we going to speak about? Well, we have a picture here. There are many different people, different things in the room, and I want you to form a sentence and I want you to say that sentence out loud so you practice speaking and you can use for or since. For or since. Now, that's just one part of the sentence. I know you can complete this with the full sentence. So, of course, you need the subject. And there are many different options for the subject. So, you can have this one picture and you can practice many different examples by changing the subject. Change the example, change the time reference. So I want you to think of the subject, what verb tense you need, and then you can take either the word for or since, not both of them, for or since, and then you also need a time reference. So you need to take this small piece of information with this image and give me a sentence. But remember, we use these time references in specific ways. We use for, the word for, with a duration of time. And we use since with a starting point in time. And don't worry, I'm here to help you improve this area. So the more you practice, you can leave examples in the comments and I'll review them and give you feedback as well to make sure the sentence structure is correct. So let's get back to our picture. But remember, I want you to practice out loud because that's how you'll practice your speaking. You need to open your mouth and say the words. So make sure you do that for me. Will you do that for me? Okay, awesome. Practice out loud and also write it in the chat so I can review it. So let's go back to our first image we had here. So we need a subject, we need a verb tense, and then we'll take that word for or since and then a period of time. What could we say for this? Who knows? Put it in the comments. Can someone put it in the comments? What could we say? Well, we need a subject. So we could take one person, we could take them as a whole group. And if you are choosing one person, then maybe you can identify that person. So maybe you could say the man wearing a black shirt, but there are two men with black shirts. So you would have to give more information. Let's see. We have one example here. Professionally, professionally says the boy who is wearing white t-shirt watching a mobile phone since in the morning. Okay. So we need to improve this sentence. We have some aspects of a good sentence, but this sentence is not grammatical. So how can we improve it? We can say the boy who is wearing a white t-shirt. So t-shirt is a noun. You need an article. I'm wearing a t-shirt. Now, you just have the word watching, but that isn't in a full verb tense. So, who knows what the verb tense could be? Okay. So, let's see. Rose has one. They have been watching. Exactly. They have been watching. So we're practicing using the present perfect continuous. They have been watching TV since morning. Since morning. Excellent job. Very nicely done. And Practice your speaking. So say this out loud. So let's practice forming a contraction because you can say they have, or you can put it together and say they've, they've been watching. So repeat after me. They've been watching. They've been watching TV since morning. Exactly. Very nicely done. Excellent sentence, Rose. Maybe you could say, they've been. Oh, here we have a nice one. Moose said, I have been working since morning. Exactly. Very nicely done. I have been working, focusing on one person in this photo. I have been working since morning. Really nicely done. Since morning, because morning is a starting point in time, is not a duration of time. And remember, the present perfect continuous is for an action that started in the past, but it continues until now. So, as you can see in the picture, they're still doing this activity, right? So, let's see another one here. Okay. We have, sorry, I'm not sure how to say your name. A bunch of friends. Excellent. A bunch of friends. So the word a bunch means many, several, more than one. A bunch of friends have been. Now, this is excellent structure. A bunch of friends have been hanging out since afternoon and now they're just chilling. Very nice. An excellent sentence because notice this student changed the verb tense, said and now. So now, because the student used the keyword now, you can use the present continuous. This is an advanced sentence and it's very well written. Great job. And this is a great example of how you can add more complexity to your speech. You can change the keyword, change the time reference, and then you can technically use two different verb tenses in one sentence. Well done. Okay. Julia said they have been couching the potatoes and surfing the social media for hours on end. This is an excellent sentence. So you're using the expression couch potato. Couch potato, but this isn't a verb. So we don't say to couch potato. The verb you would use is to be a couch potato. My friend is such a couch potato. This is used to describe someone who is lazy, who just sits on the couch and does nothing productive, watches TV, looks at social media, nothing productive. So, someone who's lazy. So, you could say they've been acting like couch potatoes because you can act like something. They've been acting like couch potatoes and surfing on social media for hours on end. This is an excellent sentence and great time reference. 4 hours, that's a duration. We're not talking about a starting point, but it's not a specific duration. We don't know how many hours. So it's an unspecified duration of time, but it sounds like a long time. 4 hours on end. Very nice. Oh, Elif has an advanced sentence because you used a negative. Practicing different sentence structures, ask a question. Use a negative. That's a great way to practice because you're more comfortable forming positive statements. So, really nicely done. They haven't. Okay, so have not as a contraction, haven't. Repeat after me. Haven't, haven't. They haven't. But what is the third form of the verb? See, saw is the past simple. And then we need the third form here, which is seen. Seen. So maybe that was just a typo. They haven't seen each other. Each other. So singular on other. They haven't seen each other for years. Excellent. 4 years. And again, it's an unspecified amount of time, but it sounds like a longer time until tonight. Very nice. Nicely written. All right. So, how about we practice another example? How about this one? So, in this case, we have one man, but we have other information in this picture. So ask yourself, okay, what is he doing? But then you need to take that information and put it in the present perfect continuous. Now, remember, you could potentially ask a question or you could form a negative sentence as well if you feel you're up for the challenge. You want to make your sentence a little more advanced. But if you want to just get comfortable with this structure, then just practice positive sentences. Manuel has one. He has been. Everyone remember, if you use the subjects he, she, it, you need to change the verb conjugation from have to has. He has been fixing the car. That is a great description of what he's doing. You fix a car. He's been fixing the car since this early morning. Exactly. Since this morning, I would personally say since this morning or since early morning. I don't think it's necessarily incorrect to say since this early morning, but it's not something that sounds natural to me. So I would say since this morning, since early morning. Excellent sentence and very good job having since because this is a starting point in time. It's not a duration of time. Gringo is enjoying this lesson. I appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying this lesson as well. If you are, make sure you like it and put yes, yes, yes. Put yes, yes, yes if you're enjoying this lesson. So I know you enjoy it because I want to make sure that you like this style of lesson. Do you like these lessons where I give you a specific grammatical structure and a picture, and you have to form sentences, practice speaking out loud. And I also have the chance to review your sentences and give you feedback live on the spot. And if you're watching the replay, don't worry because you can still practice along. Think of everything you're learning from your fellow students. And also, you can put your examples in the chat because I will still see your examples. So if you're enjoying this lesson, put yes, yes, yes. So I know you want me to keep making them. Okay, let's go back to our picture. What else do we have? Okay, Alan said he has been fixing the car. Exactly. He's been fixing the car. Now, instead of in 2 hours, if you wanted to use in 2 hours, you would use the past simple. He fixed the car in 2 hours. It took him 2 hours to fix the car. So in this sentence, you don't want in, you want the preposition for because it's a duration of time for 2 hours. But otherwise, excellent job. Okay. He has been tampering with the car since noon. Excellent job because noon, which is 12 o'clock p.m., noon, that is a starting point in time. Since 12 p.m. Now, when you tamper with something, you make small adjustments or changes, but it also sounds like maybe he doesn't know if he's doing the right thing. So if I'm trying to fix my computer and I tamper with it, there's also the potential I could make the problem worse because maybe I'm not doing it correctly. So the word tamper is a great choice. Just remember, there is this idea of trial and error, more like you're experimenting to see if it will work, but you're not 100% certain. So it's a really great word choice. Okay. Oh, I like this one. Really nicely done, Mamadou. Mamadou. I like this because you chose to use the car as the subject. Really nicely done. The car has been broken down. Now, excellent job here because if you put it in the present continuous, the meaning will change. The car has been breaking down for 3 hours. It sounds like that action is still in progress. So your car is still on the road and it's driving, but there's problems with it. But this picture, the car is broken down. So you take your verb to be and you put that in the present perfect because generally we don't put the verb be in a continuous. I wouldn't say I'm being happy, just I am happy. So, really nicely done, Mamadou, that you knew that. The car has been broken down for 3 hours. So, 3 hours ago, the car broke down. And now the car's been broken down for 3 hours. Really nicely done. How about we try another picture? Oh, well, we already reviewed this. So, again, make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and put yes, yes, yes if you're enjoying it. What about this one? Cute picture. We could focus on the child, the children. Remember, child is one child, two children. That's the irregular plural. One child, two children, children. And then we have a woman, possibly a teacher, most likely a teacher. This looks like a classroom. Or you could refer to all of them as the class, which is a collective noun, and the subject would be it, the class it. So we have a lot of opportunities for different subjects as well. And there are a lot of different activities you could focus on for your verb that started in the past and continues until now, the present perfect continuous. So here, Hein focused on the teacher as the subject. Excellent. The teacher has been teaching. Exactly. What does a teacher do? A teacher teaches. Very nicely done. The teacher has been teaching the children patiently. Oh, excellent job adding an adverb, patiently, which describes how the teacher has been teaching. Patiently, adverb. Adverbs often end in ly, not always, but that's an easy way to identify them. And adverbs modify verbs. So this adverb modifies teaching. How has the teacher been teaching? Very nicely done. Okay. Alejandro said they have learned a lot of math with the new teacher. Yeah, very nice. So this is the present perfect. Now, a present perfect is for a completed past action, but there's a result in the present. So the result is, and now these little kids feel more confident with math. Because how do you become confident with something? By practicing it. And that's exactly what you're doing with your speaking. So make sure you open your mouth and practice speaking. Really nicely done. I like that. Okay, Juliet said, I have been preparing for IELTS since 2023. Excellent job, Juliet. You are getting ready for your IELTS because you absolutely need to know the present perfect and the present perfect continuous for your IELTS. I've been preparing. Very nicely done. For now, IELTS, you would need an article in front of it. For the IELTS, we also say it as a possessive, my IELTS. So you could say for my IELTS or for the IELTS since 2023. That's the starting point. Really nicely done. Juliet, articles are so important for your IELTS. Your IELTS. So make sure you master articles. They're extremely important. Okay. Oh, look at this. Zuzi practiced with an adverb. I love it. Julia has been enthusiastically working with children for 10 years. That's the duration of time. Very nicely done. Now, if you wanted, you could change this. You don't have to. This is a perfect sentence. But if you wanted, you could say, well, what is 10 years ago? 2014. And then you would change for to since. So for 10 years equals since 2014. So this is a great way to practice is you can take any of these sentences in the comments and ask yourself, "Oh, how could I make this negative? How could I ask a question? How could I use for instead of since or vice versa?" That's an excellent way to practice. So you can do that in this lesson as well. Really nicely done. Everyone, repeat after me enthusiastically, eastically, enthusiastically. So notice those syllables enthusiastically. Whoa, there aren't many words in English that have 6 syllables. So listen to that syllable stress enthusiastically. So you hear the oohs more. That's the stressed syllable. Enthusiastically. Repeat after me. Enthusiastically. Excellent job, everyone. Practice that one. Really nice sentence. Okay, really nicely done. How about this one? Oh, hmm. So we have a woman, we have a man, and then we could look at them as they, or maybe they're a romantic couple. So we could say the couple as a subject, which is it. Hmm. Or maybe they're friends, maybe they're coworkers, maybe they're brother and sister. We don't know. So you can create a story, but think what could have happened, what's happening now, and then how could you go back to the past and talk about continuing and use for or since and use the present perfect continuous. Let's see. All my smart students, you're doing such a great job. I'm really impressed with the advanced sentences that you've been sharing. And I hope you have some ideas of how you can practice different structures, different subjects as well. Okay. They have been estranged for 3 months. Very nicely done. So if you're estranged, you might say, "Oh, I just met my estranged brother." This sounds like I didn't know I had a brother and I just found out, or I knew I had a brother, but something happened in our relationship and we stopped talking. So if someone asked me, "Do you have a brother?" I could say, "Yeah, but we're estranged," which means we no longer communicate with each other, which would be very unfortunate. So they've been estranged for 3 months, but now maybe they're they want to mend their relationship, repair their relationship. Okay. She has been turning her back at him for 1 full hour. Very nice. So you can literally turn your back at someone, but that implies that you're not talking to that person. We also have an idiom that describes this same idea, and this is to give someone the cold shoulder. Ooh. I'm sure this has happened to you, or maybe you have done this as well to give someone the cold shoulder. So that is the idiom, and it's when you're mad at someone, so you don't talk to them. You ignore them. It's like they do not exist. If you see them at a party, you don't even look at them. You don't say hello. But if you're in the same room as someone, maybe you and your husband, wife, roommate, mom, dad, sister, brother, whoever, you're in the same household, you're sitting side by side on the couch, but you're giving your brother, your sister the cold shoulder. You're not talking to them. They ask you for something and you pretend you did not hear them. That's to give someone the cold shoulder. So to put this in the correct verb tense, you could say she has been giving him the cold shoulder since this morning, whatever that might be. Really nicely done. Okay, excellent job. All right, Julia, encouraging people to press that like button with enthusiasm, enthusiastically smash that like button. Okay, excellent job. We have time for one more. Oh, here's an interesting one. How about this one? We have one man, but we could talk about his place of work. So, first, look at this picture and ask yourself, where does this person work? What type of place is this? What is the action he's doing? And then put your verb tense in the present perfect continuous. It started in the past and it continues until now. For with a duration of time and since a starting point in time. Okay, what could we say? Well, we have the man. Remember, you could describe him as well. The man wearing a hat. But what type of hat is he wearing? A backwards hat. Notice his hat is on backwards. The man wearing a backwards red hat, for example. But he's the only person in this image, but I'm just sharing how you can make a sentence more complex, and adding adjectives or descriptive words is a great way. Alex said the boy, he looks very young actually. The boy has been cooking for 2 hours. Exactly. So what does he have in his hand? Do you know what this is called in English? A frying pan. A frying pan. The boy has been cooking for 2 hours. Very nice. He's been working, exactly. You can refer to the subject as he. He's been working in the kitchen for 2 weeks in McDonald's. Yeah, exactly. He's been working in the kitchen at McDonald's for 2 weeks. Or you could also say he's been working at McDonald's in the kitchen. Those two are flexible, but I would say for 2 weeks at the very end. He's been working in the kitchen at McDonald's for 2 weeks. Very nice sentence. Okay. Ev said he's been trying. Notice how I'm forming that contraction. Everyone repeat after me. He's. He's been trying to be a good chef for 5 years. I love this one. This is really nice because we have the verb try. Now, just a typo, good. I know it was just a typo. You pressed the wrong button. Good chef. But chef is a singular countable noun. A chef. I'm a chef. I'm an amazing chef. So you need an article here. He's been trying to be a good chef for 5 years. Really nicely done. Oh, Alex said, the man wearing a red cap, exactly, has been working since morning. Really nicely done. And honestly, simply saying wearing a red cap sounds more advanced. You've given more information. Really nicely done. Manuel said, this boy has been working as an apprentice for 6 months. Yeah, your spelling of apprentice is incorrect, but just notice the pronunciation apprentice for 6 months, a duration of time. Really nicely done, everyone. Okay. How about this one? Okay. AK said he has been working as a chef since he was a child. Exactly. He was a child. So that is a specific point in time since he was a child. Exactly. Really nice. And you got a chef and you work as something. I've been working as a teacher since 2014 for 10 years. So remember to try to change since and for when you do that as well.
Amazing job. Now let's focus more on the grammar and review the differences between for and since. When should you use for or since? Now, there's a specific time that you need to choose either for or since. They're not interchangeable, and it will make your sentence grammatically incorrect if you're using the wrong one. So first, let's talk about for. We use for duration, okay? So you can think of it as a time that has a start and an end, a duration of time. For example, for 20 minutes, for 3 weeks, for 7 months, or how about for 12 years? Now, we use since with a specific time. So you can think of it as a precise moment in time. For example, 9 a.m., last Monday, June 3rd, 2014. So that's the first thing you need to know to use these correctly. For is a duration of time and since is a specific time. Now let's talk about the verb tenses that you need for each. So here's a little quiz for you. I'm going to show you some sentences using for in different verb tenses. And I want you to tell me which ones are correct and which ones are incorrect. And keep in mind, we're talking about the verb tense specifically. So that's what you need to look at. So I'll show you the example sentences now. So which ones are correct and which ones are incorrect? Let us know in the comments. Well, I hate to break it to you, but this was a trick question because they're all correct. And the point is that for can be used with many different verb tenses. It's quite diverse in that way. Now, let's do the same thing, but this time we'll do it with since. So again, the time references are all correct. I'm using them all with specific time, but let's take a look at the verb tenses. So I'll show you the sentences and I want you to let us know which ones are correct and incorrect. So how'd you do with this one? How about in the comments, let us know which ones are correct, okay? Put it in the comments. Now this one wasn't a trick question because since is a lot more limited. So here are our example sentences. The only correct ones were number 1 and number 3. You can use since with the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. The reason why is because since we use this for an action that started in the past but continues until now, and we actually don't know when that action is going to end. But it's important, it started in the past, continues till now, and is still in progress. That's when we can use since. All right, so now you know that for is used for a duration of time and it's very diverse. You can use it with many different verb tenses. You know that since we need a specific time and you can use it with the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. Now let me show you a sentence that I see almost every day, and it's wrong. And the sentence is, I've been learning English since 2 years. All right, this sentence is wrong. Now, I want you to take this sentence and make it a correct sentence. You're going to need to change either the for or since or the time reference, okay? So make your change and put the correct sentence in the comments below. Now let's get back to speaking, and you're going to answer the question, what's happening now? Think about what verb tense you need. What's happening now? And remember, you're going to practice speaking out loud with me.
So, what are we speaking about? You're going to speak about what's happening now. What's happening now? So, what verb tense do you need if the question is, what's happening now? What's happening now? What verb tense do you need? Well, of course, this is the present continuous because if something is happening now, you need the present continuous to talk about it. So I want you to answer out loud, and you're going to do this to practice speaking. So I want you to open your mouth and answer the question, and make sure you do that out loud. So here is our first example. What's happening now? And you need to make a positive statement, use the subject, the verb to be, conjugated with your subject. So, of course, you need I am, you are, he, she, it. What do you need? Is, we are, and they are. And then you need your verb with ing. So your verb can be any verb, and then you just add the ing. And this is, of course, the present continuous tense. So what's happening now? In this picture, what is happening right now in this picture? Maybe, well, you see the image, right? We have it looks like a man on the phone, Michael Scott. Does anyone recognize this reference? Michael Scott from Dunder Mifflin. Does anyone know who Michael Scott is? Well, if you know anything about American culture, American pop culture, you might recognize that Michael Scott is one of the characters from a very popular TV show called The Office. This TV show is quite old right now. Just like Friends is very old, but Americans still watch it today. And it's a great TV show to watch if you want to get comfortable with real English, the way Americans truly talk. So, what's happening now? We could say, so you have, oh, look, it's a phone call from Michael Scott. So let's see, we have some examples here in the comments. This student said, my friend is calling me on the phone now. Exactly, because what's the subject in this sentence? My friend, my friend. But when you have a subject, you always want to think, what is it? I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. So first you want to understand which of the 5 subjects is this. My friend is, of course, he or she. So he is calling me because you call someone on the phone now. You can add now, that's optional because the present continuous, it tells you that the action is happening now. So you don't have to include that, but you can. You can say now or right now. All right. So another example here, the mobile is ringing. Exactly. Now listen to how I said this because in American English, we say mobile, mobile, mobile. But in British English, mobile, mobile. So if you hear someone say mobile and someone else say mobile, just know that both pronunciations are correct. One is American, mobile, and the other one is British, mobile. The mobile is ringing. Exactly. So what's the subject here? The subject is the mobile, which is I, you, he, she, it. It's it. It is ringing. Exactly. Everyone is doing so great. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. So let's try this again. Let's try another one. Well, before we go to the next one, of course, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more great lessons. And if you're having fun, if you're enjoying this style of video, put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments so I know you want more videos just like this. Okay, so let's try another one. Here's an image. What's happening now? So think about who the subject is or what the subject is, because you can have a what, and then you need your subject, the verb to be conjugated with your subject, and the verb in ing to form a full sentence. What's happening now? What's happening now? All right, everyone, let's see. What could our subject be? Well, there's only one person in this image. So, who is our subject? And what is that person doing? Well, let's think about this. We could say she. And then what do you need for your verb to be? We have she. So, you need the verb to be conjugated with the subject. She is. And then you need your verb. You take your base verb and then you add ing. So Patrice said she's shopping. Exactly. She's shopping. And then you can expand this. You can provide more information. What she's shopping for, where is she shopping, who is she shopping with. So you can expand on this to provide a more complex sentence. But the base of your sentence, the start of your sentence is she's shopping. Excellent job, Patrice. All right. Who else do we have? Bavesh said she is checking the size of the top. Very nice sentence. So notice checking the size because she's holding it up to her. Will this fit? I'm not sure. Let me check the size. Now, most shirts have a tag on them, usually at the back. And you can also check the size by looking at that tag. Oh, what size is this? Let me check. Let me check the size of the top. Very nice sentence. Shima said she is trying a new shirt. Now, great job, Shima. You have your subject, she, you have your verb to be conjugated with the subject, but there's something missing in this sentence because you don't try a new shirt. You need a phrasal verb. So, what could that phrasal verb be? You need to take try, but you need it as a phrasal verb. So, you need a preposition. There's a preposition missing from this sentence to make it grammatically correct. And I see Horatio has that preposition. She is trying on clothes. Exactly. She is trying on. So that's the phrasal verb to try on. And that's when you see if the size is correct, if it looks good on you, if you like the shirt, you try it on. So you might be in the store and you ask someone, where can I try this on? Where can I try this on? So you're asking, where is the change room, the dressing room, the fitting room? There are many different ways, but those three are the most common. She is trying on clothes. And before, Shima said a new shirt. You can absolutely use that. She is trying on a new shirt. Okay, so Carlos said she is smiling. Absolutely. Amazing job. She is smiling because we use the present continuous for states of being as well. So you can look at her and see, okay, what is she doing? What emotion does she have as well? She is smiling. She's smiling because she found the perfect shirt, it's the right size and it's on sale. So she's smiling. Very good. Aiden provided a very detailed answer. She is trying a green blouse in the mall. Well, very good. There's just one thing you're missing. And I just explained that you're missing The preposition on. She's trying on a green blouse in the mall. Very nice sentence. I like how you added additional detail. And that's how you can make a simple sentence sound more complex by just add on more information. So really nice sentence. Just don't forget that phrasal verb try on. She's trying on a green blouse in the mall. Very nice. Okay, this is an interesting one. Julia said she is mirroring to check her ideal blouse. Very interesting that you used mirror as a verb. Now, I love how you did that, but what I would say is she is looking in the mirror. So you look in a mirror. She's looking in the mirror to check her ideal blouse. So you can see that she's looking in the mirror. All right, great job. Moses says she is looking at the blouse. Yeah, exactly. She's looking at the blouse. She's looking at it in the mirror. She's using the mirror to look at the blouse. She's looking at the blouse in the mirror. Now, remember, for spoken English, you can sound more natural, sound more fluent by forming that contraction with your subject, she, and your auxiliary verb to be, she's. She is. So say that out loud. She's. She's. Very good. And you can do that with all subjects. She's. So try that when you're saying these out loud. All right. Excellent job, everyone. So, one student wanted to know, how about she's picking a new blouse. So new instead of news, new because it's an adjective and we don't add s's to adjectives. She's picking a new blouse. You could say that because in the picture behind her, there are many different items of clothing. And of course, this is a store with many ones, many different items of clothing. So she's picking one. You can also use the phrasal verb to pick out. She's picking out a new blouse. So honestly, you could use both. She's picking a new blouse. She's picking out a new blouse. You can absolutely do that. Excellent job. Okay, so how about we try this again? How about this one? What's happening now? Oh, a little more complex of a picture, more items in the picture as well. So, again, think of your subject from the main list of subjects: I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. And then you need your verb to be conjugated with the subject. When you're speaking out loud, form that contraction. I'm, your, she's, he's, it's, where, and there. And then you add your verb in ing. Okay, well, let's see. Hacken said she is making YouTube videos. Exactly. Maybe she is because she, of course, is recording. She's looking right into a camera. She's making YouTube videos. An excellent job getting your subject verb. And remember, in written English, you can also use that contraction as well. She's making. And good job using the verb make. Make in this sense means create. You're watching YouTube videos. I'm making YouTube videos. And maybe you make YouTube videos in your spare time or as your full time job as well. She's making YouTube videos. Excellent. And if you wanted to make this more complex, you can add more information. What is she making the YouTube video about? Who is she making it for? What's the purpose? Very nice. Sergi said she's trying to decide if it's fit for her. Okay, so I think you're talking about this image. I'm just seeing your comment now. So if it's fit for her, you would say if it fits her. If it, And then you take the verb fit, but you have to conjugate the verb in the present simple because your subject is it, being the shirt. If the shirt fits, so you have to add that s because it's it. If the shirt fits her, if it fits her. You could also say if it's a fit for her. And then in your case, the only thing you need to do is add a in front of fit. If it's a fit for her. All right, now let's go back to this image here. And Shima said, the cook is showing her followers her cake. Very nicely done because in this case, the subject is the cook. She represents the cook because as a profession, we can say she is a cook. So the cook is showing. Very nice. And you show someone something. She's showing her followers her cake. Very nice sentence, Shima. I love it. Okay, here we go. Vinny said she's making a live about cake's decoration. Very nicely done. Just like I'm making a live right now, she's making a live about cake's decoration. Okay, now if you have the possessive here, it sounds like decoration belongs to the cake. So, what I would do is I would use cake as the adjective about cake decoration, about how to decorate. And in this case, decorate is your verb, about how to decorate cakes. Or you can do about cake decoration. Very nice. And Goar said she is going to celebrate her birthday. Absolutely. Maybe she isn't making a YouTube video or a live. Maybe she is just talking to her family and friends and she wants to have good lighting and she's celebrating her birthday. So she received all of these cakes as presents from people because it's her birthday. Who knows? Maybe she's not a cake or a cook at all. I like that. Be creative. Think other scenarios. Very nice. She's going to celebrate her birthday. Now, technically, this is a different verb tense. We have going to and then, well, to be going, infinitive. If you want to take your main verb, celebrate, and then you can put that in the present continuous. She's celebrating her birthday because it's happening now. She's going to celebrate her birthday. That's actually in the future. But right now, you can use the present continuous. She's celebrating her birthday. But what you wrote is grammatically correct. It just pushes it into the future. Okay. Excellent job, everyone. Let's see another one. Patrice said she's baking. I think you mean baking, not bakering. Baking. So the verb is to bake, and then you take bake and you add ing. She's baking in front of a mirror. Exactly. So maybe that's a mirror. I think it's a phone. It looks like it's a phone on a tripod, but maybe there's a mirror behind that as well. Okay, very nice. Ashin said she's showing her cooking ability. Yeah, very nice. She's showing everyone her cooking ability. Very nice. Okay. And Julia said she is streaming a live video to showcase her birthday cake. I love the verb showcase. When you showcase something, it means you show it, but in more of a advertisement way, in more of a way to let people know that you have skill or you have expertise or you really want people to admire or respect the end result of the work. So, very nice verb here. Showcase, to showcase. So, our present continuous is she's streaming. What is she streaming? A live video to showcase. Very nice. Her birthday cake. Very nice. I love that. Okay. And Horatio said, she's selling cakes on social media. I love that. Exactly. Hi, everyone. I just made this cake. You can go to my website and buy it for however much she would sell it for. They look beautiful, so I'm sure they cost a pretty penny. That's an idiom, to cost a pretty penny, which means that they're expensive. Now, expensive relative to how much cakes cost, because in a grocery store, you can buy a cake for maybe $5, $10, a cheap cake. But these are beautiful cakes. So maybe her cakes are 20, 30, $40. So comparatively to a grocery store, they cost a pretty penny. They're expensive, but they look beautiful. She's selling cakes on social media. Very nice. Alexander had a similar idea. She's trying to earn money in YouTube. Yes, very nice. You would just change your preposition from in YouTube to on YouTube, on social media, on TV. But we actually say in movies. So you have to memorize that preposition for movies is in, but most other places, social media, TV, the news, it's on. She's trying to earn money on YouTube. Exactly. Excellent job, everyone. Let's see our next picture. Oh, here we go. There is a lot happening in this picture, but notice my model says negative statement. So let's practice the negative. To make it negative, you need the same start, your subject, the verb to be conjugated with your subject. You can put that in a contraction. And then we need not, and then a verb in ing. So your base verb in ing. So all you're doing is you're adding not before the main verb. Okay. So, what is not happening in this photo? Because we're using the negative. But be creative. There are a lot of things in this image. We see some scenery, we see the sky, we see buildings, we see billboards, we see cars, we see a road. There are a lot of things here. So, let's see. Abbas said, traffic jam is not overing. I'm not sure what overing is. I think you're taking the word over to be over, and then you're adding that as a verb. But over is not a verb. So we can't do that. And also remember that there are certain verbs in English that don't exist in the continuous form. So I would just say the movie is over. So there is no continuous action there. I wouldn't say the movie is being over. I wouldn't do that. It's just the movie is over because some things don't have a continuation to them. So in this case, you could talk about the traffic or the cars as the subject. So can anyone take Abbas' sentence and change it into a new sentence using not? We'll see, and we'll come back to that. But good try. Okay. Shima has a great one. So, people, this is our subject. Remember, people is the plural of person. One person, which represents he or she. And then we have people, which means two or more of one. So we have two people. So the subject is they. They are not, they aren't. Excellent job. They aren't walking on this road. Excellent sentence. Exactly. Very creative. People aren't walking on this road. Very nicely done. Very creative. Okay. Patrice said cars aren't moving in this highway. Exactly. The cars are not moving. Exactly. Very nicely done. The cars, subject, they aren't moving. Excellent job. Okay. So here, the cars aren't driving. Now, in the future, and even right now, there are cars that drive themselves, self driving cars. But at this point, for the average person, it's not the cars that drive, it's the people that drive the cars. So you would say what we just saw with Patrice, the cars aren't moving. You would say that instead of driving because a person drives a car. She's driving on the highway. But in this case, you would say the cars aren't moving. Okay, very nicely done. Dil Sol said the drivers, so our subject is they, the drivers are not going to their places now because of the traffic. Exactly. Very nicely done. Okay. We won't be able to visit our meeting on time because of the traffic jam. Yes, exactly. So when you have a noun, traffic jam, you need because of the jam. And you don't visit a meeting, you attend a meeting. We won't be able to attend our meeting on time because of the traffic jam. Exactly. But this is in the future simple. This sentence is grammatically correct with the changes I made, but it's in the future simple, not the present continuous in the negative. What about the weather? Can anyone say what isn't happening with the weather? Because I do see some sky in the background. So we could make some statements about what isn't happening with the weather. Does anyone have any ideas? Okay. Alexander said, people here are experiencing a nightmare. Exactly. You can experience a nightmare. Now, if I wanted to make this negative, maybe I would say the people aren't having a good day. They're not having a good day. So to have a good day, a great day. So that means to experience, to have. That's our verb have. So I can say the people aren't having a good day because they're stuck in traffic. All right. So Dil Sol said birds are not flying in the sky. Yes, exactly. I don't see any birds in the background. Birds are not flying in the sky. Very nicely said. And Moses said vehicles are not moving. They're stuck. Exactly. They're stuck. So nicely done using the negative. They're not moving. And then you can add on, well, what is happening? You can add on the positive. Vehicles are not moving. They're stuck. Okay. So Carlos said the weather is getting. So that's our present continuous. The weather is getting worse and worse. At any moment, it will rain. Exactly. So it will, that is the future simple. So you need the base verb. It will rain. So to put a present continuous in a negative, we could say it isn't, and then we need some sort of weather term. So, for example, the sun is not shining. Exactly. The sun is not shining. Very nice. All right. Manuel said, there are no police helping the drivers anymore. Exactly. So here, there are no police. You could say the police as the subject and then the negative. The police are not helping the drivers. And I'm making this correction because although this sentence is grammatically correct, it doesn't follow the structure I gave. But if you're in a language exam and you're required to use a specific structure and you give a grammatically correct sentence, but it doesn't use the structure they want, you won't get it correct, even though the sentence is grammatically correct, but it doesn't follow the structure. So the structure is subject, the police, the verb to be are negative. The police are not helping the drivers. All right. Very nice. Okay. Excellent job, everyone. Let's move on to another picture. Let's see what we find. What's happening now? Oh, okay. So another negative statement. Now, as subjects, we could again talk about the weather, which would be it. We could talk about animals that are or are not in this picture. And then we have two people. So we could talk about them individually. She is not, he is not, or we could talk about them as a couple. They are not. But notice how I just said the word couple. If you use the word couple as a subject, well, what verb do you need? The couple is. So if you refer to these two people as the couple, you use the subject is. The couple is. But if you use they, then of course they are. And we need that negative. So remember, subject, verb to be conjugated with your subject, not, and then your base verb with ing. Okay. Moses said, they, very nice. Your verb to be are conjugated. They're not talking to each other. Excellent job, Moses. And excellent job getting you talk to someone. And because it's reflexive, we need each other. They're not talking to each other. Very nice. So, Hoy, remember, this is grammatically correct. They are arguing. That's true. But how could you take this and turn it into a negative? So, you need a positive action that isn't happening. So, think about how you can take this and turn it into a negative. Abo said, things are not going well. Exactly. Excellent job. So our subject is things in general. Things are verb to be are not going well. To go well is the verb here. To go well in the negative. Things are not going well. Exactly. And then you can add on things are not going well for this couple because, and then you can add on more. Very, very nice. Okay. Horatio said the couple. Excellent job using the couple isn't, because remember what I said, the couple is conjugated as a collective noun is. The couple isn't having a good time. Exactly. The couple isn't having a good time. If you walked by this couple on the street, you would think to yourself, oh no, they're not having a good time. The couple isn't having a good time. Very nicely said. Okay. And then he said, they're not getting along very well at this moment. Exactly. Very nicely done. The subject, they are not. And our verb is to get along, to get along. But he made it the negative, to not get along very well. Now, instead of at moment, that's not correct. You need to say at this moment, which means now or right now. Okay. And Glendis said they aren't enjoying their date. Exactly. Imagine this is their first time meeting each other. And maybe this is even a blind date. Do you know what a blind date is? A blind date is when someone else arranges a meeting for you, a date for you, or you find someone on social media, but you don't know who that person is. You don't even know what they look like, maybe. That's a blind date. So maybe they're meeting for the very first time and they aren't enjoying their date. Excellent job, Glendis. Okay. Goar said they're not looking to each other. Excellent job. Instead of to, use the preposition at. You look at something. Right now, I'm looking at the computer screen. You are also looking at the computer screen. Okay, they're not looking at each other. Exactly. Very nicely said. Alexander said he is not giving up his kidney to pay for her car. Maybe that's why they're mad right now. They're in a fight because she wanted him to give up his kidney. Of course, this is a joke, and that's have fun, be creative. Studying and learning doesn't always have to be so serious. Think of fun examples, fun situations, fun sentences. Really nicely done, Alexander. He is not giving up his kidney to pay for her car. Very nice. Okay, Paulo said they are not thinking about their wedding day. Exactly, exactly. And that's a great one. Well, they're not thinking about, and then something positive, their wedding day. Very nice. Okay. And Jamie said they're not happy. Okay, very nice, Jamie. So if you use aren't, that includes the verb to be, are, and then not. And then you take are not as a contraction, aren't. But when you do that, you only need the subject they. They aren't happy about their relationship. Otherwise, they're not. You can do the subject verb contraction there and then use not, or you can use verb to be and not contraction. They aren't. Both of them are acceptable. Okay, excellent job. Everyone has very, very creative ones for this one. Okay, Soul said they're not engaging in any conversation. Exactly. When they're engaged in conversation, they're looking at each other and they're talking intensely. They're not engaging in any conversation. Very good. Patrice said they're not trying to break the ice. Exactly. When you break the ice, it means you start a conversation with someone, usually for the first time, and you use a lighthearted topic that will get people talking. And they're not trying to break the ice. Very, very nicely done. Okay. And Yassine said they aren't asking about this work. Yeah, they aren't asking about this work. Sure, you can say that. Maybe they aren't talking about this work or their work or the project, just because I'm not sure what this work is. So you might use their work, the work, or the project. And if it's asking about, it would probably be one person asking the other person, but you can use talk about for both of them. They aren't talking about their work. Very nice. Okay. How about this one? So remember, negative, we're going to practice the negative some more and look at the scene. We have subjects. There are many subjects in this picture because there are lots of people in the background. We have three women. You can talk about them as a group or you can talk about them individually. You can talk about the scenery as well. You can talk about the environment that they're in. There are even suitcases. You could talk about the suitcases as the subject. You could talk about many different things. So let's see, what do we have in this one? And remember, we're practicing our negative. So many different subjects we could use. Noor has one. The flight. Exactly. The flight is the subject, and the flight is conjugated as it. So we need our verb to be is. It is not coming at this time. Exactly. The flight isn't coming. So you can take is not and form the contraction isn't. The flight isn't coming at this time. Exactly. Very, very nice. And maybe they're at the train station. That's exactly possible for sure. I don't see a plane here. So this could absolutely be a train station. The train is not coming on time. Exactly. So to come on time means at the specified time. That could be 8:43, but it looks like they're bored, they're waiting. So the train is not coming on time. Very nice sentence. Excellent job. And you can take that subject not, or sorry, the verb to be not and form a contraction isn't. The train isn't coming on time. So someone is using the suitcases as the subject. Black and red suitcases are not moving. Exactly. Very nice. Very creative. Now, I would add the article the because you're not just talking about suitcases in general. If you're just talking about suitcases in general, you don't need an article. You can just say suitcases. Suitcases are available in this store. But in this case, you're talking about specific suitcases, the black and red suitcases. So you need that article. The black and red suitcases are not moving. Exactly. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Oh, I like this one. Soul said they aren't working today. Exactly. So, right now, if they're just here napping, well, we can assume they aren't working today. You can also say they're not. Both of those contractions are possible. They're not working today. They aren't working today. Very nice. All the sisters aren't feeling well. They're tired. Exactly. So, very nice adding that negative, but then also having a positive. They aren't feeling well. They're tired. Very nice. Ashen said they're not having a blast at this time. At this time, at this moment, that means now or right now. They're not having a blast at this time. Very nice. Okay. Very nice. How about ladies are not talking beaches? They are sleeping. Okay, very nice. So you would say talk about something. So you would say they're not talking about beaches. They're sleeping. So of course they're not talking about beaches. Excellent job. Very nice. How about this one? So, in this case, I have some potential verbs you can use. So, why don't you try to use one of the verbs on this list? It doesn't matter which one you use. And you can use a positive statement. You can use a negative statement. It's up to you. And remember, look at the image, think about who the subjects are. There are two dogs. They could be the subjects as well, two people. We have the weather, we have animals, the birds, the trees. There's lots of things that could potentially be subjects here. And you can use a positive or a negative. The choice is yours. So run. Hold. So ask yourself, hold what? Where? What? Rain. Okay, that's probably about the weather. Fun. Huh. Fun is not a verb. I'm funning. No, fun is not a verb. So in this case, you have to take that word and turn it into a full sentence. So you have to think about what verb do I need and spend maybe there are some other words you need to complete that sentence. Okay. So we have Wake Up said they're walking their dogs in the rain. Exactly. They're walking. They are, as a contraction, very nice. They're walking their dogs. Excellent job getting the possessive that matches the subject in the rain. Very nicely done. Okay, Nora said, the dogs. Okay, what do you have? You have the dogs and your subject has an S on it. So it is they. They are. The dogs are running away from the water when it starts run. I don't know what you mean by the end part. Maybe you mean rain instead of run. I'm not sure. But let's just use the beginning part. The dogs are running away from the water. Very nicely done. When you run away from something, it means you get farther from the object. So let's say this is a I don't know, something that doesn't smell very good. I can try to walk away from this area that doesn't smell very good or run away from it because there's a giant spider. I might run away from the spider. I move far from it. Very nice. Okay, so Dilisol, we have the dogs, the man, and the woman. Very nice. And all of those combined are the subject they. You always want to think about what your subject is. They are running to show people the picture of happiness. Isn't that beautiful? I really like that to show people the picture of happiness. Very nice. Okay, they're running in the rain. Exactly. They're running. You just forgot why. They're running in the rain. You run in the rain. Very nice. Excellent job. They're running in the rain. Okay. Let's see. Glenda said, it's raining a lot. Exactly. So that is in the present continuous. It is raining. It's raining a lot. And they are running holding hands. So this is holding hands. Exactly. So they're holding hands and they're running holding hands. Very nicely written. Okay. So, David, excellent job. It's raining. Now you're trying to use the idiom, one of the most famous idioms in English. Do you know it? When it's raining really hard, instead of saying it's raining really hard, you can say it's raining cats and dogs. But we don't want a dog and a cat. No. So idioms, you must use the exact expression or it doesn't sound correct. So it's raining cats and dogs. So you can't change the order. You can't say dogs and cats. It's always cats first, plural, and dogs. It's raining cats and dogs. Very nice. And Moses has it. It's raining cats and dogs. Exactly. That's the idiom. Very nice. All right. What else do we have? The man and the woman in the picture. Oh, very nice. The man and the woman in the picture. Again, think about what subject is this because you need to know that for your verb conjugation. They, the man and the woman in the picture, are running in the rain with their dogs alongside. Very nice. The man is holding the girl, his girl, by the hand. Very nice. The girl is wearing a raincoat. Exactly. To wear. The girl is wearing a raincoat. It's raining heavily. Very nicely done. You use many of the examples on the screen. Well written. Okay. So, Hakan, I just read that answer or the example. The woman. So think about your subject. You need the verb to be conjugated in the base verb. The woman is wearing, and then you need your verb in ing. The woman is wearing a raincoat. Now, technically, you could say the raincoat, but then it becomes a specific raincoat. So you have to identify why it's specific. Maybe it's the woman is wearing the raincoat she just bought, for example. All right. Moses said he is holding an umbrella. In the rain. Exactly. You hold an umbrella. And remember, you also hold hands. The woman is also holding something. She's holding his hand. She is holding his hand. But what is she holding in her other hand? Ooh, does anyone know? Okay. In spite of the rain, they're having a lot of fun spending their time outside. Very nicely written. I like in spite of the rain because that sounds like it's something negative, but we're ignoring it. In spite of the rain, they're having a lot of fun. So, Antho, hopefully I said that correctly, used fun. You have fun. I'm having fun hosting this live stream. You're having fun watching the live stream, hopefully. And if you are, like this live stream, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe. And if you're watching this live stream after it's live, don't worry because I still read the comments. So still practice along as well. They're having fun. And then you can modify that. They're having a lot of fun. They're having so much fun spending their time outside. Very nice. Okay. So, Glendis, notice what I just explained. You can spend time doing something. They're spending the day walking their dogs. They're spending the afternoon with their dogs, but you have fun. They're having a fun time. They're having a fun time. Okay. Ah, so this is more of a literal translation. And still, if you don't know the word, if you're having a conversation with someone and you don't know what the actual word is, you can absolutely use a literal translation. And then the person can say, "Oh, you mean." So they're holding the ropes attached to their dog's necks. What is the name in English for ropes attached to a dog's neck? Does anyone know? And interestingly, I use these on my cats, which is not common in North America at all. I'm very weird that I use this with my cats because no, people don't do that, but I do. But they are called, does anyone know? I'll give you a second to think about. So it's not a rope. That's a literal thing, but we have a name for a rope attached to a dog's neck. And that is Theo got it. I knew someone would get it. A leash. A leash. So that is the name of what the woman is holding. So she's holding the man's hand. We'll say her boyfriend, her husband's hand. And in her other hand, she's holding a leash. A leash. And that's the rope that attaches to your dog, or in my case, cat, to control your pet's movements. A leash, a leash. Very good. So get that pronunciation. Eesh, leash, leash, a leash. Very nice. Okay. How about we have a few minutes left in our class today. So, should we do another image? How about that? So, here is one. And this time, I'm not giving you any clues. I'm not giving you any verbs. I'm not giving you any keywords. I'm not giving you this sentence structure. So, here's what you can do you can form a positive sentence, you can form a negative sentence. You can even ask a question. We haven't practiced that, but I know you can do it. I know you can ask a question in the present continuous. So you can practice that as well. And think about what could the different subjects be. Yes, there's a woman, but she's in an environment. There are many other things in this picture. So, what could the subject be as well? And then you can form a positive sentence. Make sure you get that contraction. You can form a negative sentence, or you can ask a question as well. Let's practice them all in the few minutes we have. Okay. Oh, sorry, I meant to click this one. Ashin said, "This woman is selecting her goods." Yeah, exactly. She's selecting, which is another word for picking. She's selecting, and then goods just is a non specific term like items. And we use goods for physical products that you purchase. She's selecting her goods. Very good. Excellent sentence. Sunshine said, "My neighbor." Oh, I love that. Instead of using this woman or she, my neighbor. Very nicely done. My neighbor. And then always think, what is my subject? I, you, he, she, it, we, they. So my neighbor, because it's singular, would be the subject. She, because we see a woman right here. My neighbor is purchasing few medicines. Yes. Now you actually want to say a few medicines, which means a small number of. She's purchasing a few medicines, a few items, a few different goods, a few different vegetables, a few groceries. Very nicely said. Okay, Alexander said she's checking calories. Very creative. I like this. She's checking. So in this case, check, you can think of it as verifying. She's checking. She wants to learn what this information is or confirm what it is. So she's reading the ingredients or the information to see how many calories. She's checking calories. Very nice, Alexander. I like that. Okay, Ali said she is comparing two products. Exactly. She has two different products. She's comparing these products. Very nicely written. Okay. We have another comparing products. Very nice. Okay, Dill Soul, isn't the woman finding the best before on the boxes? Ah, okay. The best before is the expiry date, the best before date. So on each box, it tells you when it will expire. So right now, today is July 2nd. So if you purchase milk, the best before date might be July 12th or July 20th, probably not too far in the future. So she's isn't the woman finding the best before on the boxes. So this is more of a question tag. If you want to ask a question, you would say, is the woman finding the best before dates on the boxes? Question mark. So is the woman. Very nice. Oh, I like this, Alexander. She's trying to overcome temptation. Very good. So the temptation might be, I really want to eat something with chocolate and sugar and fat and salt, but oh, this one is healthy. This one is unhealthy. So she's trying to overcome that temptation to not buy the unhealthy one and buy the healthy one. Horatio said she's looking for the expiration date. Exactly. You can say expiration date, or you can say expiry date, or best before date. Very good. The grandma is comparing the prices for cookies in the grocery. Exactly. Very nice. So, the subject, we can say the grandma. Exactly. We can assume this woman is a grandma. The grandma is comparing the prices for cookies in the grocery. Very nice. You don't need the apostrophe S on grocery, it's just the grocery, which is short for grocery store. But if you say the full form, there wouldn't be an apostrophe S. Okay. So here, a different subject, a nutritionist. So before she was a neighbor, a grandma, and now she's a nutritionist. Isn't this fun? A nutritionist, don't forget your verb to be, comparing content of the similar products. A nutritionist is comparing the content of the similar products. Very nice. Oh, I like this one. Wake up. She's thinking. She is thinking, present continuous. She's thinking about what to buy. Very nice. Okay. I love this. Let's do one more. MD said uh she is looking a nutritional composition of the product. Yes. So I made this contraction or comment before. You look at something. So she's looking at the nutritional composition because it's specific, the one specific to this product. She's looking at the nutritional composition of the product. Very nicely written. I love that. Everyone is so creative. And now I see another subject. The customer is choosing whether it's good to buy it or look for other commodities. Very nice. We have lots of different subjects, which is awesome. Shows your creativity. So try this lesson again. You can watch this entire lesson again and you can notice different things. You can form different sentences. You can try asking questions, using the negative, using the positive, using different subjects as well.
Now let's focus more on grammar and review the differences between the present simple and the present continuous. Now, you need to keep in mind that when you use a different verb tense, the meaning changes. So when I hear, I live in Paris, in the present simple, that is different from I'm living in Paris. The meaning is different, and I'm going to interpret them differently simply because of the verb tense you used. Now, our present simple, I live in Paris. Of course, to form the present simple, we just take our base verb, which is the infinitive without to. Remember, we need to conjugate this with our subject. So if it was she, it would be she lives in Paris. Okay, now we use the present simple for routines, like I'm sure you know. But we also use the present simple when we're talking about permanent situations, or you can think of them as simply facts. So when I hear someone say, I live in Paris, I see this as a permanent situation. I live in Paris. I live in Paris today, and I'm going to be living in Paris for the future as well. It's a permanent situation. Now, let's take a look at our next sentence. I'm living in Paris. So this is in the present continuous. Now, of course, we form the present continuous with the verb to be conjugated with our subject. So I'm living, she is, she's living, conjugated with our subject. And then we need our verb in ing form. She's living, I'm living. Now, we use the present continuous for situations taking place right now, right? But we also use the present continuous for temporary situations. So when I hear, I'm living in Paris, I think of this as a temporary situation. So I think you're living in Paris right now, but you don't expect to be living in Paris in the future. When in the future? Well, that isn't clear. But when I hear it, I think of it as a temporary situation. And this is a big difference if you live in Paris permanently or you live in Paris temporarily, right? Because you can imagine if you go to a job interview and then you say to the interviewer, I'm living in Paris, well, they might not think that you're going to be in the city for very long. So they might not consider you as an applicant because they want somebody who's going to be in the position for a long time. But you are only going to be in the city temporarily, right? So that could have a really big impact. Or same thing if you're on a date and you're talking to a potential romantic partner, but you say, I'm living in Paris. well, they might think, well, it's not worthwhile to pursue this relationship because she's going to be moving in the future. So there's a big difference in meaning between these two sentences. So keep in mind, we use the present simple for a permanent situation and the present continuous for a temporary situation. So now it's your turn to practice. I want you to put in the comments one sentence in the present simple that's a permanent situation and one sentence in the present continuous that's a temporary situation. Let's get back to speaking, and you're going to answer the question, what did you do last weekend? I'm sure you know what verb tense you need here, and remember, you're going to practice speaking out loud with me.
You are going to talk about an amazing weekend. Now, notice how I said last weekend, because if I just said the word an amazing weekend, you don't know if it's past or future. So I have to give you the keyword, and that time reference keyword is last weekend. So, of course, what verb tense are you going to be speaking in? What verb tense are you going to be practicing throughout this English speaking practice class? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. Last weekend, even my beginner students know this. So if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, this is really great practice for you. Of course, you're using the past simple. The past simple because it's a completed past action. Now, remember, this is an English speaking practice class. So I want you to answer out loud. I want you to open your mouth and say the answer out loud. Of course, write it in the comments as well, but then open your mouth and say it. Plus, when I read an answer or share an answer, you can also open your mouth and imitate my pronunciation, shadow my pronunciation, so you get comfortable with the way the words are pronounced and also how the sounds are connected so you sound very fluent, advanced, and natural. So, how about your amazing weekend? Well, here is what I want you to share an example on. Of course, you need to use your imagination. So here's an adorable picture that just melts my heart. So last weekend. Now, you can be flexible with the subject. You can say last weekend, of course, you can use the subject I. You can say last weekend, my family. Last weekend, my kids and I, my husband and I, my wife and I, my friend and I. Or maybe you're even talking about a third person. Last weekend, my coworker. Last weekend, my best friend. Last weekend, my neighbor. So you don't always have to use the subject I. And in fact, I encourage you to use different subjects because when we practice, we often use the subject I, but you need to practice other subjects. Thankfully, for the past simple, thankfully for you, there is no subject verb agreement. So it's the exact same for all subjects, but still, it's so useful to practice different subjects. So, what about you? What could you say about this? Last weekend, last weekend, we, last weekend, my family. What could you say about this picture? And notice I want a positive statement in the past. So while you're thinking of this, while you're imagining the answer, let me say hello because I see a lot of students in the chat. All right. Well, hello, Alan. So nice having you here. Hello, Mozab. Greetings all the way to Sudan to you. Hello, Belshwar. Very nice having you. And we have Mamuna from Pakistan. Welcome, welcome. Okay, we have a lot of students here. Hello, everyone. Maria, hello. KK, hello. Oh, it's 9 p.m. Well, thank you for staying up with me. I appreciate that. All right, Maria. Last weekend, the family gathered all together. Okay, that's great. Now, how does that relate to the picture on the screen? So what did we gather together to watch? The polar bears, for example. That could be one. Maybe you watched a documentary or a movie about polar bears. That could be one. Now, there's a little mistake in here. Last weekend, the family. See this a lot from students, even my advanced students. So if you use a possessive my, you don't use an article, the. It's either my family or the family, but you don't use a possessive and an article. A possessive replaces the article. Okay, let's see if we have some examples. AK said, last weekend, my sister came over. Okay. Two, how does that relate to the picture on the screen? To watch a movie about polar bears, about bears, to look at the photos I took of polar bears when I was on vacation. So you can start with a simple sentence, but then add more details, make it more complex, get creative. Okay, what do we have here? We have a lot of comments. Moses said, my family and I had an awesome day last weekend. Okay, very nice. That's very nice, everyone. Okay. Nobody is giving me an example about the picture on the screen. So make sure you give me an example with the picture as well, because I want you to get creative. So here we have one. Not this one. Okay, this one. Jonathan said, last week, my family took a photo with bears. Exactly, because took is the past simple of the verb take. Remember, there is no subject verb agreement in the past simple. So it could be any subject and the verb would still be take or took in the past simple. My family took a photo. You take a photo. Sometimes students say make a photo. That's not the verb we use in English. We use took. My family took a photo with bears. Exactly. Excellent job. Now, if you say with bears, it means your family is in the picture as well. And that's great. You can absolutely use your imagination and pretend you're in the picture. But if you're taking a picture of something else, you use the preposition of. My family took a photo of bears. So that's if you're not in the photo and it's just the bears. If you are also in the photo, it's a selfie, you and the bears, then you use the preposition with. Okay. Well, Vlad, you're close. You talked about monkeys instead of bears, but I'll use this. Last weekend, I watched BBC program about monkeys. Well, let's change it to the photo and use bears, about polar bears. Okay, so you are missing an article because program is a countable noun. So you need to add the article, a BBC program about monkeys, or in this case, about polar bears. Rita said, last weekend we watched a movie about polar bears. The film was fantastic. Exactly. And everyone, make sure you're opening your mouth and practicing along as well, practicing that pronunciation, practicing that connected speech. Now, I love how Rita made this simple sentence more complex simply by sharing her opinion on the film. The film was fantastic. Very nicely done. Sandeep said, last weekend we got together to watch documentary about polar bears' life. Very nice. I like that, Sandeep. Nicely said. The only thing is, documentary is also a single countable noun. So you need an article to watch a documentary about polar bears life. I would just say about polar bears, or you could say about the life of polar bears. The life of polar bears. Very nice. Maria. Maria used the bears as the subject. I love it, Maria. Awesome job. Awesome job, Maria. Okay, last weekend, this bear family. So, bear would be the adjective to describe the family. So, you wouldn't have a plural on it. It's this singular, this family, because family is a collective noun. This family is super cute, adorable, ferocious because they're bears. This bear family, okay, this bear family don't need the members. If you use members, now it's actually you need these members. So let's get rid of members. This bear family spent time outside enjoying snow. I love it. And great job getting spent time enjoying, because the expression to spend time, that's a gerund expression, and that's why we have enjoying as the ing. And great job getting spent. That's the past simple of the verb spend. I always spend time with my family. Last weekend, I spent time. So notice that pronunciation of that T. Spent time with my family. Okay. Let's move on to our next photo. Before we do, of course, are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, let me know. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already so you're notified every time I post a lesson, and then put yes, yes, yes so I know you like this lesson. Put yes, yes, yes so I know you want more lessons like this. And now our next photo. Seems like we're on a theme here, an animal theme. I do really love animals. So let's do a positive statement again. So, same thing. Last weekend. Now, there are more people in this photo, so maybe you could use they as the subject, or we, or maybe you could talk about your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers, or again, maybe you're watching a movie, maybe you're watching a documentary. Maybe you're looking at a photo. So it doesn't mean that you experience this personally. You could be looking at a photo. So let me know. Last weekend, they, we, I, this man, this couple, my neighbors. So try different subjects and then we'll see. We'll see how you do. Okay, and everyone is saying yes for more lives. Oh, I'm so glad everyone's enjoying it. I'm so glad. So AK said yes, and Sanina said yes. Maria said yes. William said, of course, awesome. Jonathan said yes. Mew Mew said yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Edu said yes. And if you're not watching live, if you're watching the replay, still put yes, because I reply to all your comments and practice along. Share your examples as well, because I reply to the comments. And it doesn't matter if you're watching the replay or the live, we can still interact together, and make sure you still practice your speaking. The King of King. I like that name. Very strong. Says yes. Freddie says, of course. Woohoo. Sania wants a partner. So, anyone, practice your speaking with Sania. Say you can arrange a time to practice together. Okay. Belshwar, I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not. My apologies. Says, last weekend, two guys washing the elephant on the river. Okay. So you have I think that's just a typo. So I'm going to ignore that. But is what verb tense is this in? We have last weekend, which is great, but then washing. Huh. You're missing some words or you used the wrong word. So, how can we improve this? How can we correct this? Well, you could say last weekend, two guys washed. So, notice that pronunciation because we have wash, that's the base verb to wash. But then in the ED, the past simple, it's a very soft T, washed washed. Everybody repeat that. Washed. I washed my hair. I washed my hands. He washed the elephant. Okay, is very soft. And then in a fast conversation or natural speech, you won't hear that T. It will be so soft, you won't even hear it. But you understand based on context because you hear last weekend or yesterday. So you know it's in the past. So last weekend, two guys washed the elephant in the river. In the river. So they are in the river. On would be the surface of. So maybe there is a leaf or a toy floating on the river. So something could be floating on the river. So that would be on the river, but under would be considered in the river. Okay, awesome, everyone. Here's a great one. Beckety said, last week, my friend watched a TV show about elephants in Africa. I love it. Perfect sentence. And I love how you used my friend. Practice using different structures. It's or different subjects. It's very useful to get that practice. Now, again, thankfully, with the past simple, there is no subject verb agreement, but it's still fun to practice. Okay, and notice we had washed. I washed my hands, and now I have watched. Wow, isn't that similar in pronunciation? Watched, watched, washed, watched. Practice that. Washed, watched. So this one is wash, watched. Practice that. They're very, very similar. And it's context that will make it obvious. I washed my hands. I watched a movie. It's the context that helps you understand which one. Okay, let's keep going. Mozab said, last week we have this concept in English of irregular verbs. In the past simple, there are many irregular verbs. The past simple is generally an easier verb tense for students because there is no subject verb agreement. Many of the verbs end in ed, but there are irregular past simple. So, what's the irregular past simple here? I know my smart students know it. What's the irregular past simple? Last week, I last week I rode. Exactly. Andrew knew it. Last week I rode an elephant. Okay, awesome. Otherwise, nice sentence. Okay. And William said last week, a couple, excellent. A couple was washing an elephant. Very nice. Now, this is excellent. I love your sentence, William. But technically, what verb tense is this? And this is a great sentence. So, excellent job. The couple was washing, because the past simple is washed. Last week, a couple washed an elephant. Now, the past continuous uses the verb to be and the ing. We'll practice that in a different live stream, but excellent sentence, William, because this shows the action in progress rather than a completed past action. Very nice sentence. Okay, Sweetie said, Last weekend, my neighbors went to Thailand. Excellent. The irregular of the verb go is went. I'm sure you know that. My neighbors went to Thailand and experienced an elephant ride for the first time. What a nice sentence. Bravo. Excellent job. I love how you said experienced an elephant ride for the first time. So adding those small details really makes your sentence sound advanced. Great job. Okay. Barrow said, last week we bounced off about an elephant theme park in Africa and mustered up all papers on the desk. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent job. Very creative as well. This could absolutely be an elephant theme park. Excellent job. Okay. Ines said, last weekend I saw a documentary. So see is the base verb and saw is the irregular past simple. I saw a documentary in which it was talked about of elephants in danger. Oh, very nice. Yes. Last weekend, I saw a documentary which talked about elephants in danger. So you had some extra words that aren't needed. The documentary which talked about talk about something. You don't need that extra preposition. Talked about elephants in danger. Excellent sentence. Very nice. Rashmi said, last weekend I visited a national park. So notice the pronunciation here. What do you notice? Visited, visited. So the base verb is visit, visit. And then when you have the past simple, what happens? Visited, visited, visited. So you add that extra syllable. That's because the word visit ends in a T. If the word ends in a T or a D, for example, need, need, needed, want, wanted. So if it ends in a D or a T, you add an extra syllable only for those two. They end in a T or a D. I visited a national park. There, I saw an elephant enjoying his bath with his instructors. I love it. Very nice sentence. Excellent job. Okay, wow. We have a lot of comments. I would love to read them all, but let's continue on. Okay. Ooh, something I would probably not do. What about you? Would you do this activity? Last weekend, you can use the subject I, she, my wife, my sister, my mother, my aunt, my coworker, my neighbor, my girlfriend, my fiance, whatever subject you want. Let's practice different subjects. Oh, last weekend, she, or maybe you want to use yourself as well. Last weekend, I. Has anyone done anything like this? I know this is a popular thing for tourists to do. I don't know if I would personally do this. Last weekend, here we go. Manuel said, oh, good job, Manuel. You're brave. Last weekend, I was scuba diving. Very nice. I was scuba diving in the middle of sharks. Yes. So that's the activity that she's doing if you're not familiar. This is called scuba diving. Exactly as Manuel wrote it. He wrote it. The spelling is perfect. Great job. Now, I was scuba diving. You can also use the verb go. So if we're talking about the past simple, last weekend, the past simple of the verb go, I went scuba diving. I was scuba diving. Both of them are correct. In the middle of sharks. Wow. Whales and dolphins in the south of Tenerife. Very nice, Manuel. Very nice. Okay. Oh, this is from the last one, but I like this because this is an interesting one. I dreamed. Exactly. So I talked about, oh, maybe you saw a picture or you watched a movie or a friend told you about this experience. But what if you just had a dream? I love it, Andrew. Very creative. Last weekend, I dreamed about, and notice you dream about something. Oh, what did you dream about last night? Did you have any interesting dreams? I dreamt that, or I dreamt about going scuba diving with sharks. Okay, very nicely done. Jamie said, last weekend I was snorkeling in the beach with my wife. Yeah, very nice. So, the activity here, like I said before, is called scuba diving. Snorkeling is very similar, but with snorkeling, you don't have oxygen. So, notice how in her hand she has oxygen so she can stay under the water for long periods of time. And generally, when you scuba dive, you go very deep in the water. But when you snorkel, you just have the mask, and then there's a little stick with a tube, and you stay closer to the surface of the water. And you generally don't go deep in the water. So, excellent job. You can absolutely use snorkeling, just so you know the difference between scuba diving and snorkeling. Very nice. Zachariah said, last week I was scuba diving in the middle of sharks for a couple of hours. Yeah, exactly. You can use in the middle of, that's correct. You can also simply use the preposition with. I was scuba diving with sharks, with sharks. So, generally, when you're a tourist, you might see a brochure, a pamphlet, a flyer, an advertisement that says scuba diving with sharks, scuba diving with sharks, or swimming with sharks, maybe swimming with dolphins, swimming with sharks, swimming with whales, things like that. Okay. Here we go. Rita said, last weekend, my sister went diving. Absolutely. You can also drop the scuba and just say diving, especially in the scuba diving community. People who do it as an activity, they probably just talk about it as diving. Oh, are you going diving? Where did you go diving? Let's go diving. Last weekend, my sister went diving. She practices this activity twice a week. Excellent job expanding on this very simple sentence and adding more information. And great job changing your verb tense to the present simple because this is now a routine action. Really nicely done. I love that. Oh, here's an interesting one. Barrow said, last week, I remembered my oath at college and fulfilled it by having a photo taken in the aqua park pool with some drowsy and calm sharks. This is very creative. So I remembered my oath. So an oath is, for example, Barrow said when he was in college, he said to his friends, I promise one day or before I turn 30, I'm going to go swimming with sharks. So now he fulfilled that oath. Very nicely done. Okay. Oh, here's a different one. Last weekend, I entered under the sea to hunt a shark. Oh, wow. That's very creative. Very nice. I like that. Under the sea. Okay. How about let's move on to a different structure. So let's practice. Oh, let's practice. We already did this one. So, how about we're going to skip this? Let's do a negative. We haven't practiced negatives yet. So, we practiced positives. Let's move on and do a negative. So, I gave you the model here just to help you. But remember, the past simple is easy because you don't have to change your verb conjugation with the subject. Okay, so we have subject, didn't as the contraction, did not, didn't, and then the base verb. And of course, you can add more information to make this a more advanced subject as well. Now, of course, because we're using didn't, I chose some pictures that are a little more negative. So, based on this picture, what did this man, this student, your friend, your brother, your boyfriend, your husband, your coworker, your neighbor, or you didn't do? So think of the subject, think of the activity, but remember it has to be negative. Okay. Yeah, so he is not. That is the present simple. But we want to make this in the past. So Manuel said he did not pass the final task. I'm afraid of it. Well, don't be afraid of it, Manuel. I'm sure you'll do great. Okay, excellent job. And remember to sound more like a native speaker, to sound more advanced, fluent, natural. You can take that did not and repeat after me. Didn't, didn't. So notice how I'm not really pressing out that T. Didn't. That's the full pronunciation. Didn't, didn't. He didn't pass the final task. Excellent sentence. Okay, Freddie said, even though she studied all time, she unfortunately failed her test. Wow. Great job, Freddie, making it more advanced by adding a clause, even though. Okay, just a couple things I want to help you out with. Even though is two words, even though she studied all the time. You need the all the time. Even though she studied all the time, she unfortunately, I like how you added unfortunately as well. She unfortunately failed her test. So here the verb is fail, pass, and then fail. She unfortunately failed her test. Now, technically, this is a positive statement because it's not using didn't, but still, great job, Freddie. I like your sentence. Really nicely done. Okay. Julia said, last weekend, I didn't burn the midnight oil for sitting the exam. That a foregone conclusion was most likely the unfavorable outcome. Very nice. I like this. I didn't burn the midnight oil. Very nice. So if I burned, that would be the past simple. I burned the midnight oil. That means I worked late into the night. And it could be I worked at my job or I studied as well. I worked late into the night. I studied late into the night, but I didn't. I didn't burn the midnight oil. So I stopped studying around 3 p.m., watched a movie about sharks, and then I failed. Okay, Horatio said, my friend didn't pass any exam. Yeah. I think he won't graduate this year. Oh, very nice. I like how you added on your opinion. I think he won't graduate this year. Very nice. Nice to make it more advanced. My friend didn't pass. If you use any, then you need to add an S to your noun. My friend didn't pass any exams. Any exams. Okay. This is a good one. I didn't get the result. Exactly. So think more creatively. I didn't get the result of the final exam. Very nice. So your verb is get in the base verb. Okay. I like this one. Despite having stayed up all night. So notice here, you can say all night, but with the word time, you can't say all time, all the time, all night, all morning, all afternoon, all weekend, all the time. So that's an exception with the word time. Despite having stayed up all night to prepare for the exam, excellent. He didn't do well. Exactly. I did well, but then the negative. I didn't do well. He didn't do well. Very good. He didn't get the job. Exactly. This is creative. He didn't want to pass the test and he did it. I think you just have a typo for there. And he did it. Exactly. Maybe he didn't want to pass because if he passes the test, he'll get into this specific school that his parents want him to go to. But he doesn't want to go to that school. So he failed the test on purpose. Oh, we're being creative now. Very nice. Okay, I like this one, Susan. My cousin is very stressed because he didn't get good results in his final exams. Very nice. I like how you added just a little more information. Simply adding this one piece of information, my cousin is very stressed. It makes it sound more advanced. Really nicely done, everyone. Excellent job. Oh, Jamie said he didn't study for the exam because of video games. Exactly. He was too busy playing video games. He didn't study. Exactly. Oh, here's a good one. Asham said he didn't hit the jackpot with passing his final exam. Yeah, because if you hit the jackpot, so the verb is hit, but in the past simple, the verb hit is still hit. So the verb hit is irregular. All three conjugations are hit. I hit the jackpot last week. So this means you achieved a great result, but we often use this because of luck. So I hit the jackpot by getting an amazing client, for example, and it was just luck, but he didn't hit the jackpot. Very nice. Oh, Julia is so sweet. She's encouraging you to smash that like button to support this channel. A lot of YouTubers say that smash that like button. It just means to press like with a lot of force and enthusiasm. Thank you, Julia. That's very sweet of you for promoting that. I appreciate it. And yes, everybody smash that like button and smash subscribe as well. Okay, Lychee said he didn't brush up on his subject. Excellent job. So the phrasal verb is to brush up on something. This is a phrasal verb that requires two prepositions, up, on. You use on when you're identifying the topic. But this is negative. So in the past simple, I brushed up on algebra. So algebra is the subject. So if you brush up on it, it means you review it, you try to remember your past knowledge of algebra. He didn't brush up on his subject. Very nicely done. And Jonathan, smash that like button. Thank you so much. Okay. How about this one? Oh, last weekend. This will have to be a little bit creative because we have this picture of a broken bone. So he broke his bone. which is so to break a bone. That is the expression to break a bone. And then you can be specific. Well, which bone? I have many bones in my body. To break one's leg. He broke his leg. Okay. So that's the past simple, but what could a negative be? Ooh, honestly, I don't know. You're going to have to get creative. So maybe it could be this, I don't know if this is a man or a woman, this man, this woman, this, it looks like a younger person, this boy, this girl, this child, my neighbor, my son, my daughter, my niece, my nephew, I, my husband, my wife, whatever the subject might be. But what could be a negative statement that describes this picture? Huh. Lychee said, last weekend, he didn't mind his steps and broke his bone. Very nice. So he didn't mind his steps. So if you mind his steps, your steps, if you mind your steps, it means you're careful about your foot placement. So if there is an uneven surface, there might be a sign that says, mind the step. Mind the step. So it means be careful with the steps. Pay attention to the steps. Be cautious of the steps. Last weekend, he didn't mind his steps and broke his bone. Very, very creative. I like it. Okay. So we have a negative in here. We have a negative. This is also very creative because Dindy said, last weekend, I went hiking because you go hiking. Go hiking because hiking is a physical activity. And we often use go with physical activities, go and the verb in ing. I went hiking. That's the past simple and broke my leg. That's the past simple, but very creative, adding on a negative sentence. I didn't like it. Excellent job. Very nice. Okay. Zishan said, my friend didn't know the consequences of fast driving. Oh, very nice. So the friend didn't know the consequences when he drove very quickly, but then he found out the consequences because the consequence was he broke his leg. Anna said, last month I didn't have a good time because my son broke his knee. Exactly. I think that's just a typo on the word broke, but there's no R, just broke, oak, broke because my son broke his knee. So I didn't have a good time. Exactly. I didn't have a relaxing weekend because I had to drive my neighbor to the hospital, maybe. Oh, as Ezat said, he didn't sleep well. Excellent, very creative. So I slept well. That's the past simple. I slept well. I didn't sleep well. He didn't sleep well last night and he is not focused. Okay, the last part I'm not too sure of because you focus on something. So it's a little incomplete to me, but your first sentence, your first part of the sentence is perfect. Okay. Last weekend, Andrew says, last weekend, my cousin had a car accident. Yeah. So you can have a car accident, to have a car accident. And then the past simple is had. So irregular. I'm sure you know that. Last weekend, my cousin had a car accident. Fortunately, he was not in dangerous situation. He just broke his left leg bone. Exactly. Very nice. So he wasn't in, I would say So a situation, and then you need an adjective, a dangerous situation. Otherwise, you could get rid of situation and just say he was not in danger, period, or in a dangerous situation. Okay, excellent job, everyone. Let's try another one here. Okay. Another negative statement, a picture that is maybe a little confusing. So, what could be the negative? And then again, think of your subject. She, my sister, my girlfriend, my teacher, my neighbor, my coworker, I. What's your subject? Be creative. And then what is the negative? What is the negative? Hmm. Well, think about this, and then I just saw one from the last picture. So while you're thinking about this one, his broken leg didn't stop him. Excellent job of the past simple in the negative. And then the subject here is actually his broken leg. So as the subject, it would be it because I, you, he, she, it. So it's not he didn't or you didn't, we didn't. The subject is it, which represents his broken leg. It didn't stop him from going out. Really nicely said. Awesome job. Okay, what can you guys think about with this picture? Last weekend, Miraj said, last weekend, my friend didn't expect. Oh, so excellent. So the base verb is expect, to expect something to happen. I expected the storm. So you expect something, you don't expect about something. It's just I expected the storm. I expected to break my leg. So my last weekend my friend didn't expect the situation, the exacerbated situation of this assignment. Yeah, excellent job. So just instead of about, change it to the because it's the situation and then exacerbated is the adjective, the exacerbated situation of this assignment. Very nicely written. Great job. Ashen said, last weekend she didn't have a blast by reading her book. Exactly. She didn't have a blast. So to have a blast means to have a great time, but she looks bored or tired. So she didn't have a blast. You don't need by. You can just say she didn't have a blast doing something. So you just need that gerund. She didn't have a blast reading her book. Okay. Anna said, my sister, excellent job choosing a subject. My sister didn't want to read. Exactly. She didn't want to read. My sister didn't want to read, so she climbed up a tree and had a rest on it. Exactly. Very nicely done, adding this additional information with your positive past simple and just have a introduction in the negative. Really nicely done. Okay, so let's move on. And this time, a question. A question. So for the question form, you need did, subject, and then base verb. So think of what the subject is, think of what's going on in this weird picture, and then what could be a question. So you see this, maybe your friend posted this on Instagram or wherever on social media in a WhatsApp group, or your friend sent you this photo with no explanation. And so you want to ask your friend a question about this photo. Okay. So Jonathan asked a question. Did you pass a fun weekend? Nice question form. You started with did, subject. The only thing is in English, we don't use pass a fun weekend. That's probably what you use in your native language for the verb choice, but in English, we don't use it. We use the verb have. Did you have a fun weekend? Did you have a fun weekend? But perfect question, Jonathan. Okay. Excellent job. When did you go on a tour? Yeah, absolutely. So my question was more of a simple question, but you can ask a WH question. When, who, what, where, why, and then we generally include how in the WHs, even though it doesn't start with WH. When did you go on a tour? So if you say, did you go on a tour? Of course, the answer is yes, I did. No, I didn't. But if when did you go on a tour? It's assuming they went on a tour and you just want to know when. Excellent job. Okay. So let's look at this one because we need to correct something here. Of course, it's just a typo at the beginning, did instead of dis. I know you meant to write did, so that's just a typo. But did they, what do we need? Because you need did subject, which you have, but you need the base verb, the base verb. Did they get? And then you also need engaged. So the ed, because it's the adjective form. Get engaged. Get engaged. Did they get engaged? Did they get engaged? Excellent job. Very nice question. And yeah, maybe that's why they're celebrating. Did they get engaged? Okay. And Najib said, did you have fun while celebrating your alone time around the world? Exactly. Did you have fun? Very good. Anna asked, did you go on holiday in the USA? Exactly. You can go on holiday. Did you go on holiday in the USA? Very nice. Okay. Yes, exactly. So Najib, get engaged. This is the correct spelling. So did you get engaged? Very nice. Farrelson asked, did you have fun with us? Exactly. Did you have fun with us? And Mamuna asked, did you make some new friends? Exactly. You make friends. And then, did you make some new friends? I don't recognize some of the people in this picture. Yeah, because Mamuna is asking her friend who posted this on social media or sent her the picture. Very nice. Very nice. Well, as I read some more, here is the next picture. So, did whoever these people are, again, you can imagine your friend posted this on their Instagram or sent you this in a WhatsApp or a text, and you want to ask a question about this picture. Okay. Farrelson asked, why did you move to a new house? Excellent. So remember, to add that WH, it's very easy. You just put it right at the front because the question is, did you move to a new house? And then it's a yes or no. But if you ask why, now you're not answering yes or no. You're providing the reason. Why did you move to a new house? Excellent job. Very nice. Here's a good one. Janet asked, how did you take this picture of us? I really like that. Really. Okay. Did you take this picture of us? That's the basic question. And then you can add a WH. Why? Why did you take this picture of us? When did you take this picture of us? But I like this. How? How did you take this picture? I didn't see you with a camera. You were inside the whole time. How did you get this picture of us outside? Great job. I like that. Okay, did you already what do we need the next word? Did subject base verb, base verb. Did you already load the car? So if you use already, then you don't use yet. Did you load the car yet? Did you load the car yet? Or did you already load the car? Excellent. Did Maria stay in bed this morning? Exactly. So maybe there was supposed to be a third person helping with this move, but she's not in the picture. So did Maria stay in bed this morning? I like that. Manuel asked, oh, no, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I meant to put up this comment actually. Manuel asked, did they sell their house? And okay, so did they sell their house? When you have the word and, you need the same grammar as the first verb. So did they sell their house? Did they move to a new one? So you move to a new house. This is a mistake I see where students change the grammar of the verb after and. Did they sell their house and move to a new one? Excellent job, Manuel. Okay. How about this picture? This is a fun one. Your friend posted this on Instagram. Your friend sent this to you on WhatsApp. Now, what question would you ask your friend about this photo? And remember, the subject can be any subject. Did your sister, did your family, did your kids, did your husband, did you, of course, you can use you as well. Did they, did your friends and you? Okay. So, what could the subject be? And then what is a question you're going to ask about this picture? Looks like a fun picture. So, Dindy asked, did you enjoy the amusement park? Exactly. Did you enjoy the amusement park? And it's so funny. Asham asked the exact same question. Very nice. Great minds think alike. So, Dindy, Ashen, you have great minds. You think alike. Oh, Freddie asked, did you like? Very nice. Now, notice the next verb is in ing because the base verb is the verb like. So now the next verb has to be conjugated according to the previous verb, like, and then your next verb is ing. Did you like riding on roller coasters? Excellent question, Freddie. Very nice. Liam asked, how long? Very nice. So the question is, how long did it take to ride the Ferris wheel? Yeah, how long did it take to go in a complete circle? Very nice question, very advanced, adding that how. How long did it take to ride the Ferris wheel? Very nicely written. Jonathan asked, did your girlfriend? Yeah, your friend posted this and you know your friend's not on vacation. So did your girlfriend go on vacation? Very nice. And you go on vacation. Excellent job, everyone. There are so many amazing comments here. Did you play games? Exactly. Did you play games? Did you play any games at the amusement park? Oh, did you get motion sickness when you went on the roller coaster? When you went on the roller coaster. You could also use the verb ride in the past simple when you rode the roller coaster. So you can go on a roller coaster or you can ride a roller coaster. Did you get motion sickness? Oh, that's that feeling of, oh, motion sickness. Very nice question. Okay. Oh, here's an interesting question, Paulo. What's the most thrilling attraction in this amusement park? Very nice question. Yeah, absolutely. Mamadou, you can ask about the weather. Did you enjoy the weather? So you don't have to use the word around. If you use around, you would have to specify something. Did you enjoy the weather around that part of the city? But it would sound better to just say, did you enjoy the weather? Did you enjoy the weather? Yuguri asked, did you get a discount for the ticket? Yeah, it's a discount. Did you get a discount? Excellent question. Very, very creative question.
Now let's focus more on grammar and review the differences between the past simple and the present perfect. And at the end, you'll complete a quiz to make sure you really understand the difference. Let's compare two sentences. I saw that movie. I've seen that movie. I'm sure you know that I saw that movie is the past simple and I've seen that movie is the present perfect. Easy, right? Let's quickly review the structure. To form the past simple, you need the subject and the past simple verb, which is either the base verb plus ed or an irregular verb. In this case, we have an irregular verb because it isn't I seed that movie with ed, it's I saw that movie. So it's an irregular past simple. To form the present perfect, you need the subject, have or has, depending on the subject, and you need the past participle. For the subjects I, you, we, and they, you need have. And for the subjects, he, she, it, you need has. I have seen that movie. She has seen that movie. Now let's talk about how to use these verb tenses because native speakers use them in ways that most students don't use correctly. Of course, the past simple is used for a completed past action. I saw that movie. But did you know that the present perfect is also used with a completed past action? However, there has to be a result in the present. That's why we call it the present perfect. So just remember that present, completed past action, but result or impact in the present right now. I've seen that movie. So what could be the result in the present? I've seen that movie, so now I don't want to watch it. So now I can tell you about it. So now we can discuss it and I can share my opinion. So always remember there's a so now with the present perfect when it's a completed past action. But very important, native speakers rarely say the so now. It's just implied based on context. So your friend could invite you over and say, do you want to come over and watch Barbie tonight? And you can reply back and say, I've seen it. Now your friend understands the so now you don't want to watch Barbie. You don't need to vocalize that, and most native speakers will not vocalize it. So you might say, I've seen it, and then ask your friend, have you seen the new Leo movie? Did you notice I used the present perfect in that question? Have you seen the new Leo movie? We also use the present perfect to talk about life experience, things we have and haven't done in our lives until now. For example, have you ever eaten sushi? To reply, you can say, no, I haven't eaten sushi, or yes, I have. Yes, I have is the short form. The full form would be, yes, I have eaten sushi. You could add on and say, I ate it last year for the first time. This is the past simple because it's a completed past action. You could also add on, I lived in Japan for a year. Again, this is the past simple, a completed past action. You do not live in Japan now. What if you said, I've lived in Japan for a year? This is the present perfect, and it's used for an action that started in the past and continues until now and will continue into the future indefinitely. Now, it's important to note that you can use the present perfect or the present perfect continuous interchangeably with three common verbs: live, work, study. I've lived in Japan for a year. I've been living in Japan for a year. They're exactly the same, but this is only for those three verbs: live, work, and study. You could say, I didn't eat sushi when I lived in Japan. This is in the past simple because it's a completed time reference. It's impossible for you to eat sushi now because the whole time reference is in the past. But you could also say, I haven't eaten sushi yet. This is the present perfect, and it's an unfinished time reference because it's still possible for you to eat sushi now. Why? Because you're alive. You could eat sushi tomorrow or next week. So it's an unfinished time reference. So let's review our uses. For the past simple, you can use it for a completed past action or life experience with a finished time reference. For the present perfect, you can use it with a completed past action with a result in the present, life experience with an unfinished time reference, and with an action that started in the past and continues until now with those three common verbs, which are live, work, and study. Now let's review some common mistakes that I hear students make again and again with these two very important verb tenses. Let's review this sentence. I've tried sushi last week. What's the mistake in this sentence? Do you know? You can't use a specific time reference. Last week, that's a specific time reference. You can't use a specific time reference with the present perfect. So how would you correct this sentence? Write it in the comments. I ate sushi last week. Because you have last week, you need the past simple. Some common specific time references are yesterday, last month, last week, last year, in 2020, at 3:30 p.m., assuming now it's after 3:30, 4 years ago, on July 15th, which is in the past, when I graduated, because you graduated at a specific time in the past, perhaps July 15th, 2020, during the meeting. Again, the meeting took place at a specific time on Monday at 3:30, and today's Tuesday, so it's in the past. How about this sentence? We've lived here since 10 years. What's the mistake? Do you know? The mistake is confusing for or since. One of the most common mistakes. How can you fix this sentence? Put it in the comments. We've lived here for 10 years. We've lived here since 2013. You need for plus a duration and since plus a starting point 2013 is the starting point for that action, which continues until now because it's in the present perfect. Because remember, you can use the present perfect or the present perfect continuous with which three verbs? Live, work, and study. You got it. Now I'm going to quiz you to see how well you really know the past simple and the present perfect. Are you ready? Question 1, she breakfast an hour ago. Do you need the past simple or the present perfect? And how do you conjugate it? Put your answer in the comments. She ate breakfast an hour ago. Past simple, because it's a completed past action with a specific past time reference, an hour ago. And notice eat is an irregular verb, she ate. Question 2, you need to rewrite the sentence so it's in the present perfect. The sentence is, she ate breakfast an hour ago. How would you rewrite this in the present perfect? Put it in the comments. She has already eaten breakfast. You don't need already, that's optional. She has eaten breakfast, so now she's not hungry. But remember, a native speaker won't communicate that so now. So you can simply say, she's eaten breakfast. She's already eaten breakfast. So you need to get rid of that past time reference. It can't exist with the present perfect. Question 3, we 3 paintings so far. Do you need the past simple or the present perfect? How do you conjugate it? Put the correct answer in the comments. We have bought 3 paintings so far. This is in the present perfect because it's possible for you to buy more paintings. You can go to the store tomorrow or next week. So it's an unfinished time reference because you're alive. So it's still possible for you to buy more paintings. We have bought 3 paintings so far. Question 4, rewrite this sentence so it's in the past simple. We have bought 3 paintings so far. We bought, past simple, irregular verb. We bought 3 paintings last week, yesterday, an hour ago. You simply need a past time reference. Question 5, Ling as a realtor from 2005 to 2015. Do you need the past simple, present perfect? Put the correct answer in the comments. Ling worked as a realtor because it's a completed past action. Your final question, you know what to do. Rewrite the sentence so it's in the present perfect. Ling has worked as a realtor, and now we need since 2005, or we can use for 20 years. But because it's in the present perfect, it means Ling is still a realtor now, whereas in the past simple, she is no longer a realtor. Now, I want you to keep speaking in English every day. So let me share my best tips and advice so you have the exact plan that you need to keep improving your speaking skills. Imagine you told your friend that you're learning how to play piano. And you told your friend that you spend time every day watching videos on how to play piano, studying piano theory books, and even listening to piano music. Your friend says, well, that sounds great, but how much time do you spend playing piano? And you reply back and say, oh, I'm not ready to play yet. I need to learn more before I start playing. Your friend will of course be confused because the only way you learn how to play piano is by playing piano. Of course, learning about piano theory will help you improve, but you will not reach your goal until you sit down and play piano. At first, It will feel awkward and uncomfortable. You will sound terrible. You will make a lot of mistakes. And guess what? This is exactly how you learn piano. The same goes for your speaking skills. If you want to improve your speaking skills every week, you need to practice speaking every week. Yes, it will feel awkward and uncomfortable. Yes, you will make a lot of mistakes. Yes, you will pause and hesitate. This is exactly what needs to happen for you to improve. The more you practice, the more you'll improve. But let me be clear, you must speak if you want to improve your speaking. Do you agree with that? Does that make sense to you? If it does, put that's right in the comments. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that someone needs to listen to your friend playing piano in order for your friend to improve their piano skills? If your friend is playing piano in a room alone with nobody listening, is your friend still practicing? What do you think? Yes or no? Put your choice in the comments. Did you say, well, yes, of course my friend is still practicing, even if my friend is playing piano in a room alone with nobody listening? Do you agree with that? Well then, doesn't it make sense that you can also improve your speaking skills by speaking in a room alone without anyone listening? Can you prepare for a job interview by practicing how you're going to answer a question in a room alone? If you practice answering job interview questions in a room alone, will you feel more confident answering that question in a job interview while people are listening to you? What do you think? Yes or no? I hope you said yes, I will feel more confident by practicing what I'm going to say, even if I'm practicing alone. And if you answered yes, then it also makes sense that you can improve all areas of your speaking by practicing alone. You can practice ordering a cup of coffee alone. You can practice asking for directions alone. You can practice introducing yourself at a party alone. Not only can you practice these things alone, you should practice these things alone. Even if you have a teacher or a speaking partner, that person is only available for a few minutes a day or week, but you are available to yourself every second of every day. If you agree with me so far, then you must also agree that you truly have no excuse to not practice and improve your speaking skills. Now, I understand that speaking alone can be boring. So here are 3 easy and free strategies to make speaking alone fun and engaging. Number 1, random question generator. These are free websites that randomly generate endless questions that you can answer to practice speaking alone. Once you generate a question, make it your goal to talk for 1 minute. And then you can generate another question, and another question, and another question, and practice speaking for as long as you want. Number 2, ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT to start a dialogue with you to practice speaking. So here's the prompt that you can use. I want to practice speaking English. Write a dialogue where you provide only one part of the conversation so I can respond to practice speaking. So as you can see, ChatGPT replied with a very simple question. Hi, how are you today? And now you can hit the microphone button on your phone and then vocalize your reply and submit it to ChatGPT. So let me do that now. I'm great. I'm recording a video to help my students improve their speaking skills. Now notice that ChatGPT asked me a follow-up question. That sounds like a fantastic idea. What kind of speaking exercises are you planning for them? So let me reply to this. I'm planning exercises where they can practice speaking alone. And notice ChatGPT again asks me a follow-up question. And this will keep happening. ChatGPT will keep asking me questions to get me speaking. And I don't know what ChatGPT is going to ask me next. So this truly is like if you're at a party and someone asks you a question, you don't know what they're going to ask you. Now, at any point, you can change the conversation and just give ChatGPT a specific topic. Let's discuss movies. So now notice ChatGPT asked me a question about movies. Number 3, narrate your day. To narrate means to explain what happened. For this activity, you're going to vocalize your actions throughout the day. You can do this anytime you're alone or anytime you feel comfortable speaking out loud in public. Let's say I'm at home alone and I'm working at my computer and I decide I want to take a break and have a cup of tea. It will take me approximately 5 minutes to make a cup of tea. This gives me 5 minutes to practice speaking out loud. I can summarize what I've already done today. I can summarize what I still need to do today. I can talk about tea and discuss my favorite flavors. I can compare tea to coffee. I can share my opinion on beverages. It doesn't matter what you say. It only matters that you practice speaking out loud. You can easily do these 3 activities multiple times per day. And you can easily get 1 hour or more of speaking practice every single day. If you practice speaking in English every day for an hour a day, would you not agree that your speaking skills and confidence will improve? I'm sure that you would agree that yes, my speaking skills will improve. So put yes in the comments below. Remember that this video is on improving your speaking skills specifically. Of course, you need to expand your vocabulary, improve your grammar, improve your listening skills, and learn correct pronunciation. But knowing the theory of a grammar rule does not mean you can confidently use it in your speech. Just like knowing the names of piano keys or knowing piano theory does not mean you can sit down and play piano. And that's why your daily speaking should be done as a separate activity. This is a smart strategy that will help you see greater improvements in your overall fluency in less time. Amazing job with this lesson. Do you want me to keep making lessons where we practice speaking together? If you do, put masterclass, put masterclass in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And you can keep improving your English with this lesson. Make sure you watch it right now.